All right, thanks for joining us. Today we are going to be talking about what passive communication is. Throughout the PowerPoint, we'll be able to define passive communication and compare it to other communication styles. We'll also be able to identify traits of having passive communication. We will also talk about some pros and cons as well. We'll know how to utilize assertive communication, and we'll also be talking about some skills on how to become more effective in communicating. So what exactly is passive communication? It's a style in which individuals that have developed a pattern of avoiding expressing their thought and feelings. During passive communication, a person might prioritize their needs, their wants, and their feelings at others at their own expense. The person does not express their needs and they do not stand up for themselves. They might feel nervous in a certain situation. They have a hard time making eye contact. They're very submissive and their body language is very withdrawn. This all can lead to be taken advantage of, even by well-meaning people who are unaware of the passive communicator's needs and wants. On this next slide, I wanted to show an example of what passive communication is. Here we have Tony, who looks like he's a businessman, and we have his boss. And Tony really needs the day off, but in reality, he tells his boss, sure, I'll work. Here we notice that Tony's very withdrawn. He has a hard time expressing his feelings, and his body language is very submissive. And unfortunately, he tells his boss that he'll work. In reality, he really doesn't want to. On the next few slides, we will be talking about each passive communication style, what they mean, their thoughts, traits, and characteristics. We'll also talk about the pros and cons of each style. We'll also mention some benefits and also some learning skills on how to become a better communicator.
Passive communications are never unwilling to spread thoughts and feelings from the usual who goes along in what other people want. Express their feelings and thoughts and tend to speak apologetically. The traits of passive communication. Passive communicators really do not express their feelings or needs, allowing others to spread themselves for them. They often act indirectly, giving it to others. They show a lack of eye contact, poor body posture, and inability to say no. Its basic characteristics are nonverbal language, keeping a low profile, frequently use of impersonal perspective, avoidance of direct confrontation and use of euphemisms, avoidance of expressing feelings. The causes of passive communication are low self-esteem and poor confidence. Pros and cons of passive communication. Advantage. It's a state of reflection. Don't get angry. Patient. Less exposed to conflict by not getting into a strange situation. And disadvantage are no motivation to do things, speak ironically, mental laziness, loss of social life, low self-esteem. Pros and cons of aggressive communicators. Their advantage are full power and dominance, good self-esteem, and shows non-conformity. Its disadvantages are assaults you verbally and physically, doesn't solve problems, they are not realistic, and separate of powerless. Pros and cons of assertive communicators. Their advantage are that they are able to see, hear, and love others. They are confident, they intimate you, and they are friendly. Its disadvantages are lack of self-confidence, their negative consequence, devaluating one's own feelings. Aggressive communication. Its verbal are easily frustrated, speak in loud or unbearing way, unwilling to compromise, use of criticism, humiliation, and domination, frequently interrupt or does not listen, disrespectful toward others, non-verbally, body rigid, face tightening or scroll, hand might be in a fist pointing and using hands into intimidating manner, making body look bigger by puffing out chest. Assertive communication, listens without interruption, clearly state needs and wants, willing to compromise and stand up for one's right, confident tone or body language, good eye contact.
Next, we have assertive communication. This emphasizes the importance of both people's needs. During assertive communication, a person stands up for their own needs, wants, and feelings, but also listens and respects the needs of others. Assertive communication can be defined by confidence and willingness to compromise. To become more assertive, it's important and it will help you to empower yourself and get more of what you want by setting boundaries and standing up for yourself, and also how to communicate your expectations. Here are a few ways to do so. Number one is affirm others, make eye contact and be honest. Number two is repeat observation. Make sure you both are on the same page and repeat back to each other what you have heard. Three is your feelings. Make sure you're thoughtful and vulnerable, but express your thoughts and concerns. Number four is your needs. This is where you tell them what you want and what you need. Number five is alternative, is ensure your boundaries and consequences. Some ways you can be assertive is to make sure you respect yourself, make clear requests, don't be afraid to say no, be a good listener. So remember the 3 C's in assertive communication is confidence, always believe in yourself and the ability to handle a situation. Number two is clear, make sure your message is clear and understandable. And last but not least is control, deliver your information in a calm and controlled manner. Next, we will talk about the benefits of passive communication.
There are benefits of passive communication. There are times in our lives when we take on the passive role. It can help us be seen as someone who is willing to make a sacrifice to ensure a positive outcome for others. People view us as considerate and thoughtful when we occasionally accept a compromise or give in for the greater good. You also avoid or postpone conflict in the short term. You alleviate anxiety in the short term. You are often praised for being selfish, to name a few. It is when we consistently become passive that it becomes a problem. You need to find balance. Unassertive behavior, whether it be passive or aggressive, can lead to low self-esteem. When we are passive, we don't get our needs met and we don't feel respected, which can lead to resentment and anger. When we are aggressive, we don't exercise empathy or compassion for others, which helps us build strong connections with others. When we can be assertive, we can learn balance. And we will be able to show empathy for others at the same time. Make sure that we feel respected and our own needs are being met as well. This can lead to a happier state of mind and more healthy relationships. Being assertive shows that you respect yourself because you're willing to stand up for your interests and express your thoughts and feelings. It also demonstrates that you're aware of others' rights and willing to work on resolving conflicts. Assertiveness offers many benefits. It can keep you from being taken advantage of and also keep you from acting like a bully to others.